The International Committee of the Red Cross is trying to aid in the release and transfer of hostages in Gaza and Palestinian prisoners in Israel, as you can see here. But the group is also supposed to have access to the Hamas hostages who remain behind, meaning the majority of those kidnapped who won't be released as part of this deal. Not surprisingly, that hasn't happened. This is the new truce extends 2 more days. The Red Cross has repeatedly been denied access to those taken by Hamas since the beginning. But they were supposed to be given access to hostages during the 4-day pause in order to offer medical support, hopefully offering a better idea of their condition if they're alive. Today, the daughter of 84-year-old freed hostage Elma Avraham called out the Red Cross for failing to get her mother the medication she needed while being held in Gaza for 52 days.
My
mother, her health neglected, was in critical condition. That neglect stretched the entire length of her captivity. They held her in terrible conditions. She was abandoned twice. She was abandoned once on October 7th and a second time at the hands of the organizations that needed to save her and improve her conditions. We met every member of our family and got a list of her medications. The health insurance moved heaven and earth for us. We got all the authorizations. My brother had the medications in hand. My brother met with the Red Cross and tried to pass along the medications. They said, no, we can't take the medications.
And the nephew of a 72-year-old hostage who was released on Friday provided a better idea of what the conditions were like under Hamas.
They got light only for 2 hours a day. They were fed only by rice and some beans from can, which they tried to avoid eat in order not to have stomachache. And, they not mentioned they didn't have any decent facilities like shower. They didn't shower for 7 weeks.
They're children's babies, some who need medication, but their hands are tied if Hamas won't let the Red Cross in. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan made it clear on Sunday that it should be happening.
The Red Cross, and we expect that to be fulfilled. We do believe that Hamas is obliged to maintain its part of the commitment on Red Cross visitation of the hostages, and we expect Qatar and Egypt and other countries to hold Hamas accountable to fulfill that commitment.
The Red Cross has also claimed they're pushing to make these visits.
The ICRC has been calling from the onset to have access to those held hostages, and we will continue to call for that access, to call as well for the families to have proof of lives of their loved ones and to be able to communicate with them. So we'll continue to push and make this happen. At least this is our intention.
Joining me now, Robert D'Amico, retired FBI agent who spent 19 years working with the Bureau's hostage rescue team, handling international hostage cases. And so he had to deal with the Red Cross quite a bit. Thanks very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. So why doesn't Hamas want the Red Cross to be visiting with the hostages?
At first, I think we all thought it was, well, they don't want the Red Cross to gain intelligence of where the hostages are at and how they might be able to be rescued. But I think it now is starting to point at Hamas does not have all the hostages, or some of the hostages were killed in the capture and the day or so that was happening. I think they don't have a grip on exactly how many they have, and that's going to affect the negotiations down the road. And it's turning out we're now starting to get some word that Islamic Jihad has some, I've heard up to 40 or 50. Don't know how that happened. Hasn't come out before, but you're starting to see the truth start to leak out through probably the Qataris, because they're realizing that when they're going to start negotiating towards the end, Hamas does not have all the hostages everyone thinks they have.
But Hamas isn't even granting access to the Red Cross to the hostages that they have, are they?
No, they're not. And I think probably there's a couple reasons. I think it started with the fact that they were afraid that it would give intel, but I think now it's starting to point to the fact that they don't have all the hostages, and that's going to affect their negotiations down the road.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.